This video will summarize policy and other updates for the 2020-2021 academic year, including the university's international travel policy for student organizations, COVID-19 considerations for events, and information about Bama Pulse, UA's new system for tracking community service hours. First, we'll cover the international travel policy and registration process. While most organizations are currently delaying or canceling travel due to COVID 19, there may be a time in the future where your student organization plans to travel internationally for a conference, performance, competition, service project, retreat, or a social or professional activity. Let's answer a few questions about planning an international trip and UA's new international travel policy for student organizations. How does UA define student organization international travel? Great question. For the university's purposes, international student organization travel includes any trip to destinations outside of the United States that is coordinated, facilitated, and or financially supported by your student organization. These types of trips must be registered by your student organization through the travel activity form linked on the source website. The form is reviewed by UA departments and asks questions about your itinerary, route, trip attendees, international partners or host, trip advisors, activities, accommodations, and more. You should submit the travel activity form the semester before you intend to travel, at least 60 days in advance of your departure date. The best way to prepare to fill out the travel activity form is by reading the International Travel for Recognized Student Organizations policy, which is linked on the source website. This policy lists topic areas and specific questions that should be addressed in your planning and outlines the information that must be submitted through the travel activity form. If your international travel is approved through the travel activity form, your trip will be covered by the UA Systems Travel Assistance Program, International SOS, and will be covered by the Systems Travel Insurance Policy. If you have any questions about the international travel policy, please contact the Office of Student Involvement and visit the International Travel section of the source website. Next, we will discuss COVID-19 health and safety considerations for your student organization's meetings and events. At the time this video is being recorded, there are still many questions about what on-campus events and activities will look like this fall, and we understand that your organization wants to begin planning. While specific requirements and policies for events are still in development, we can reasonably anticipate certain changes to the way events must be run in order to remain safe and prevent the spread of COVID-19. First and foremost, the CDC recommends that events take place virtually if at all possible. If you haven't already, your organization should begin to test digital conferencing software offered by OIT, like Zoom, and create a plan for effectively engaging new members in a virtual environment. Student involvement will continue to distribute resources to aid in your use of such platforms. When it is essential to have an event or meeting in person, your organization must choose spaces that allow all attendees to practice social distancing. First, consider outdoor spaces which are open air, easily allow social distancing, and do not require as much cleaning and disinfecting as indoor spaces. The setup of all in-person events and meetings, whether outside or inside, must not only allow but encourage social distancing. Social distancing is just one of many personal protective behaviors that you must require at your organization's events. Other personal protective behaviors include frequent hand washing, or the use of appropriate hand sanitizer when soap and water are not available, avoiding touching your face, staying home when feeling sick or after being exposed to someone with COVID-19, and wearing a mask indoors or when social distancing is not possible. If your student organization plans to host any indoor events this fall, keep in mind that the capacity of indoor spaces on campus will be drastically reduced and spaces will be in high demand. Meeting rooms and classrooms that worked for your organization last year may not accommodate your desired number of attendees or even be available this year. Additionally, when planning indoor events, your organization needs a plan for disinfecting high-touch areas in the space, like doorknobs, light switches, technology, and handrails. Meetings and events should be contactless when at all possible. If your organization relies on heavily tabling, start brainstorming ways to make your tabling contactless, like using QR codes to link to pertinent information instead of relying on sign-ups, flyers, or other giveaways. A detailed review of the final recommendations and policies for student organization events will be included in Event Smart training this fall. If your organization plans to host in-person or virtual events or meetings this fall, please plan to have at least one officer complete Event Smart training. Additionally, be on the lookout for a UA-wide student training module about COVID-19 that will be required for all incoming and returning students. Last but not least, UA has a new system for tracking service hours. Instead of using SL Pro, your organization will now use BAMA Pulse to advertise service events and track service hours completed by members. BAMA Pulse is managed by the Center for Service and Leadership, and it conveniently brings community service partners, service learning courses, student organization service, and both on and off-campus service opportunities onto one platform. This fall, Student Involvement and the Center for Service and Leadership will host trainings on how student organizations can use BAMA Pulse to create efficient and effective service opportunities. If you have questions about BAMA Pulse or would like to get started now, contact the Center for Service and Leadership by emailing bamapulse@ua.edu. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to watch the other resource videos and take the quiz to finish this section of Source Officers Academy.